This is the Prairie Field Services Safety Meeting for the week of March 4th through March 10th. Thanks for attending. If you're watching online, please make sure you comment with your name in there for us. We're talking about JSAs for this week. What is a JSA? Yeah, it's a formal review of our job site. We have them pre-printed, all that for you. Eventually, they will be electronic. We have to complete them before we begin work. And it breaks it down into measurable steps on what we're going to do. And it identifies our hazards associated with each of those steps. And we have to build controls to try to eliminate those hazards or mitigate them down to be a safe level. And we have to have everybody involved in a task sign those. That way when I show up or Kim shows up, Gilby, anybody else, pumpers, especially company safety guys, ask them to sign your JSA. They need to see there's these JSAs. Devin, main safety guy, he does get a warm fuzzy every time you pull out that JSA and have him go over it and sign it. Speak up if you're doing a big group thing. Ask questions. And as I said, that breaks it down into measurable steps. Review each step for hazards. List ways to eliminate or control these hazards. Because if we're trying to do something that has a high potential of serious injury or death, we need to modify that and mitigate it so we can do it safely and efficiently. And then we all have to sign off on this. And our supervisor is going to review this. So, right on thing. Do we ever do a JSA when you change the light bulb? Probably not. But we do need to build steps in there. Like we got to set up that ladder and we got to prepare the electrical fixture, climb the ladder, take that burned out bulb out, screw in the new one, come down the ladder and put it away. Pretty simple steps. We do it at home all the time, but you don't do a JSA. Some places require a JSA for this. But we need to list our steps in order what we're going to do and what the potential hazards may be and how we're going to control these hazards. So when we're done with this, we should have something that looks like that, just to change a light bulb. We've built all of these things here for you. I know a lot of them just get pencil whipped, but please take the time to think about the hazards out there. We have had over 14 incidents in the last 7 days. It's just getting out of hand. And I'm not saying a JSA is going to stop all incidents, but it should make you think about the steps you're doing and the processes involved. That's what our JSA looks like. If you need to communicate with Ashley, LaDonna, or Mary, write your comments to them on your JSA. Any new hazards that you find on a location, add those also. We might have to update our turn by turns so we have accurate information. Because we know they're bringing in more and more rigs onto existing pads, and you might have gone there 100 times and everything's good. You pull in this time and all of a sudden there's a trench and new dead men. Let's put those things in there. A JSA must be turned in with all your paperwork, be it crude or water. Wyoming crude, we're bouncing along. You were way above 50,000 there for a while. That's what, like 59,800 was a high day.
We had a day that almost hit 60. It's been pretty low recently. A lot of that's due to the ice we've been finding in a lot of the loads, increase in rejects. I've had a lot of call-outs because it's cold, and that's why I feel that people are calling because it's cold. So it seems like we're starting to climb back up in there. It's starting to get nice out. Let's hope it doesn't rain, and then we get the mud problem. We are increasing back up. Our goal right now is to be 52,000 barrels a day, and we're about 10,000 off right now. It's just a little slow.
Water side, they're staying right about 10,000 barrels. We've had some guys drop from them, so if you know guys interested in water hauling, I'm sure we're going to be posting here for it shortly. There's nothing up there yet, but we're seeing what we can accommodate with them. Texas, still staying right with it. They should have some flowbacks coming on down there here shortly. Sarah, I wanted to let you guys know if you're interested in playing in a co-ed summer softball league, there's a sheet on the bulletin board over here. You need a minimum of 8 males, 8 females for a team. We can have more than that, but that's the minimum we have to be able to be in so we can cover all the players. The league begins May 13th and runs through August 15th. Games are Monday nights. Practices will vary with schedules, all that kind of thing. And the cost is $485 for the team. That equates to $30 for a person. Go out and have some fun. April 11th is our deadline, but sign up on the sheet there. It could be a lot of fun. Sarah has got some new employee discounts in place for you, and you have to either show up one of your ADP pay stubs at these. Boot Barn, any location. She'll post the exact discount on that at a later time here when they finalize it, but she's not sure yet, but Boot Barn will honor that. Red Wing and Casper will give you 6% off their boots. We have a catalog right there, and the guy told us if it's in the catalog, we can order it, because they have a pretty small store. But they will help you out there. Lifetime Fitness at any location. Your prices for single and adding spouse and all of that. Any other ideas on corporate discounts at places, let Sarah know. Just get with her. And some existing ones. ADP has all kinds of stuff when you click on there. It says show ADP discounts. There's $20 off TurboTax. You can get car rental deals, hotel deals. There's a bunch of stuff in there. Just go through those. Those change quite a bit. And you'll see new ones come on your ADP all the time. Some of the operational things we wanted to talk about. As I said, we've had a lot of incidents in the last 7 days. And we've stressed and stressed and stressed. If you have an incident, you got to call dispatch first. On any incident, be it a spill, an injury, near miss, that sort of thing. If you're injured, you call the supervisor, call dispatch first, call the supervisor. Not at the end of the shift, not the next day, not 3 days later. Makes it really difficult to get these things taken care of properly with that.
Even if you slip and fall, you twist a muscle or pull a muscle, stuff like that you don't think is really gonna be such a big deal. Report it anyways. We can put it down as a near miss. That way, we got it documented. We want to document more near misses. We got a couple locations that there's been a lot of slips that maybe we need to go to the producer and say, hey, this is a problem. I know I've been to a couple of them out there that don't have any stairs over the berms or anything like that can be problems. If it's a high area where we're having slips and trips, maybe we can get the producer to put better containment crossovers on.
Yeah, even if we do the near miss on it, it's reported to us. We have a couple of them right now that weren't reported until days after the fact, or after gone home and calling from home later. Call dispatch right away. If you have a spill, you need to stay there until the supervisor gets there. We've talked about it. If you don't have signal, you got to get to a place you have signal, but then you need to get back to that location. Our supervisors have duties to do, and they're just turning into the spill cleanup team. It's ridiculous. They spent better part of a day and most of the night shift on one the other day.
How many of you guys use safety locks on your cam mirrors?
I've got a couple, but they need to put them on all the trucks.
So that's one thing I need to do. I mean, we had a spill that, looking at the root cause is the dog ears were worn out, and, the vibration of the fluid coming through there just worked them loose, and the hose popped itself off the Getty box. Some of our customers require us to have, the Velcro or the safety locks on them.
Well, here's the deal with that. You can ask for them down there, and they'll tell you they can't give them out, or they'll tell you they ain't got none. I understand if they ain't got none, but if they've got it, they can give them out. We're required to have them. So we need to get with them down there.
I'll work on that.
Thank you.
Let's see, some of the other stuff. Paperwork, crude water must be turned in daily. Or if you're at a remote location, make sure that gets emailed to them daily. And when we're loading and unloading, you can't be sitting in the truck. It's going to be a zero tolerance on that because we're finding more and more audits that guys sitting in the truck while they're loading or offloading. And that, one, it's against our policy. but it also puts us in violation of the federal guidelines that say we have to have spill prevention and countermeasures in place. That's why we built the procedure that we have, is so we're in compliance with the federal regulations. If your guys are loading at Devon and you're using a witch's hat and it fills full of ice, take pictures of that ice and send to dispatch, please. Lots and lots of ice issues lately with Devon loads.
We cannot just reject any tank out there, whether it be for Devon or anybody, just for oil's too cold. We got to attempt to take a sample. If you can't break through the surface to get a proper sample, we just need that documentation. But Devon called me the other day and wanted to know why we got all these rejects for oil's too cold. We actually had an instance where I don't know how we ended up sending someone else back out there, but Devon had sent a hot oiler out there to warm it up because of that. When they got out there, one of our drivers had pulled that load. We must have sent somebody else back out there. But if you're gonna, claim the oil's too cold, try to get a sample. Try to get a temperature. Don't just use too cold or too thick. If it's too thick, we can't break through the surface. We just need a little bit better, reasoning for those rejects.
Recognition committee. We're building a recognition committee for drivers, other employees, that kind of stuff. Kim's looking for a couple drivers to volunteer to help on that for above and beyond things. If you're interested, get with Kim, and she'll let you know when they're going to be doing a little get-together and try to build some of the criteria for what we want to recognize people for. One of the supervisors wanted me to mention to you guys, too, about entering highways, especially at night. We all know Highway 59 is just getting berserk crazy, fastest cars. Take that extra minute, left, right, left, just like your Smith driving teaches you, and pull out when it's safe to do so, because we've got guys, none of ours, but some of the collisions that have occurred is they're thinking they can get out and pulling out in front of people. Then you get these big grinders there. Let's just take that extra moment to make sure we're safe to get out on the roadway. It's not going to slow you down that much. The Texas drivers know it really well with some of the roads they travel. They're horrid down there, and 59 is getting to that point where it's just as bad as some of that area. And we'll have a trainers meeting if you're training next Thursday at 3 p.m. I'd like to have all the trainers there. We need to discuss a few things that are going on with that. Have a couple questions. Gilby, I need to route this question to you from Josh. Any idea when we are going to see match on the 401k? And if so, do you know how much yet?
So I know that they're already talking about it in Wayzata. I haven't heard of a final date yet. Alan Welsh will be back on Thursday, and that's one of the things I'll ask him, and hopefully we can bring that information to you on the next week's safety meeting. As far as the only thing I know is that it's talk and that it's going to be in place. So when it starts, I still have no idea.
And Tim commented out here, he said Devon should do something positive for the berms so we don't have to wade and be soaked and get to the tanks. And true, that is a concern, especially those crow units, how deep they get. If you run into those, let Sean Potter know. He's their contact. He will get in touch with them and get it taken care of.
So some of that other stuff with the Devon, their containment's having a lot of water. Well, we are trying to set up a meeting with them to kind of talk about some of the deficiencies they have, as well as, for them to communicate their deficiencies that we have on our side. And that's something I'll bring up with them to make sure we can properly access their sites.
Yeah, let's see. Bobby wants a witch's hat. I do believe the shop has some still, don't they? Double check with them, Bobby. I bet you they still have some.
Then I'm going to go back to Josh Holder's wiser option for oil, too cold oil. Well, we can reject it for too cold oil, but we have to have additional comments. So even if we take any check mark on any of the rejections, we still have to have additional comments of why. So, the oil's too cold. Why is it too cold? Give me a brief description of why it's too cold. That'll help us fight those rejections and make sure that we get paid.
And Josh, you're right. You're the one that suffers with that, but we have to have the documentation as to why it's being rejected. And I know in our managers meeting, we're talking about some of the lacks have been set differently for higher temperature oil coming in. And Gilby's in the process of trying to figure out what and where and why. Because it's not just the cold oil. You guys have delivered cold oil before. But if you've noticed this year, they've changed a lot of things, shutting down the lac. That they can control what temperature comes in, and they don't want it too cold. We need to find out why they're doing that, because it's news to us too. Because
Find out what temperature do.
yeah, and that's on Gilby's
That's
list
one
to
of the
do.
things. What's the minimum and maximum temperature, minimum maximum gravity?
I know
when it's
last
actually
year
going to
Devin
ship.
had it down to 20 degrees, or Sinclair had it down to 20 degrees. They didn't want anything less than 20 degrees.
And they're talking about raising that up higher. So
Awesome.
And Jay's saying, then why do we have 7 trucks frozen? The cold oil shuts the lacs down. Yeah, the cold oil will shut down the lacs, but some of these are frozen with pretty substantial amount of water they're pulling out of them.
pull 30 barrels of water out of one of the trailers. I know there can be some suspended ice crystals, but I don't see any way how we can load 30 barrels of water if we're pulling our proper samples. You know, suspended ice is usually 2-3 barrels tops when we end up getting it there. So it's been a hassle for us in the last 14 days or 2 weeks. We've had last 14 days we've had 14 frozen trucks. One of them still sitting in the wash bay from 3 days ago. So it's not good for you. It's not good for us. It's not good for the producer. But we're also, that's one of the things we're taking to the producer. You know, they want to know why we're rejecting a load for cold oil. Because I got a truck sitting in the wash bay for 3 days, losing $4,000 of revenue a day. You know, 2 shifts and everything. So it's something we're also going to have our customer help. The producer's the one that's complaining that we're doing this. I need our customer to understand that this is causing us a problem. You know, their oil is not good, and they're saying it is. So that's one of our topics on our meeting agendas when we talk to a few of our customers.
Darren, you're asking what temperature the lac shut down at. That's one thing Gilby's got to check with all the customers. What is their lac set to? Because all of them have a different temperature in there. You know, you can get some pretty cold oil off at North House Creek, but the noms are pretty slim there. Signal Hill loads, Chris, you're right. Those are problematic, especially they got to heat them so high so you can get them out. And it cools down pretty quickly on you. That one we're watching also. And Israel's commented it is cold and negative temps. Watch yourself for frostbite, frost nip. Check out especially nose and ears and the mirror, that kind of thing. If it's that stage, shut your stuff down. Get in the truck and warm up. And it would be nice to have our own hot oil truck, but I don't think we want to get into that right now.
I've looked into it. They're expensive, but I mean, if it's to a point where we need to do something like that, maybe we can sell some service work to, you know, to keep it going. But I don't think we should be to that point where we need a hot oiler. I think our producers need to give us, you know, a little bit better oil to even try to load to begin with. But it's an option. I can't say it's going to happen, but I've been looking at used hot oilers. They're, like I said, they're expensive. For one that I know that's going to work is about $350,000, and so a little bit that we would need one doesn't make sense. But when I got a truck sitting in the wash bay for 3 days, I probably could have had that going in a couple hours.
And Mike, let Gilby know where you pulled that was 44 degrees and where you went to that it wouldn't come off. Any questions, you guys in here?
I want to mention something more about the reject rate and the conveyor and all that. I'm just curious.
That's supposed to be like this pay period. So not the last one that you guys just got paid for, because that was towards the end of it, but starting when the new pay period started last Sunday, I believe. So I believe those rates went in, according to what Alan said, those new rates went in last Sunday.
And the new converter rate is
$37.50 an hour.
so when we fill out the hand,
No, that's supplemental.
so that really
Yeah, so your supplemental still at $20 an hour. It's the demerge, which is your billable wait time, is at the $37.50, and then the rejects went up to 50 rather than the 30.
Chance fees go up or not?
I don't remember seeing that, but when you do have a wait time, make sure you have the reason for the wait and notes of why you're waiting, not just trucks. I've had some calls from some drivers and some leasers. I didn't get paid for this, and corporate said it's because they didn't have a reason. And I'm like, well, they check marked that there was trucks in line.
Okay, I was under the impression that if it was for trucks, we could just check it. So we need.
You
we
can't.
need to
You
put
have
it-
to put
There
a
has
note
to
in
be
there.
notes.
Okay.
If you just put in the reason for it from the drop down that they have, if there's not a note attached to it, I mean, even if you put in there 4 trucks ahead of me had to wait. I mean, I know it seems redundant, but they go through and we have to have a note to send to the company for billing. So as long as you have that in there, that'll tie back that there was a note.
And mark that 50 for rejects started this new pay period. And then Israel, the 3750, the service work is still the same for water. That is for demurrage when you're waiting for offload, that kind of thing. The first hour is still on us. After that, it's paid at 3750.
Devon's 2
I would
hours.
say Devon for
Yeah,
water is
yeah.
2 hours.
Yeah, Devon's 2 hours, excuse me, on the water side. Anything else from anybody?
You got anything, Jason?
Not at the moment.
Kim?
I just wanted to reiterate with the recognition committee, we're trying to get people from all areas of everything. So we're trying to get dispatchers, we're trying to get shop people, drivers. There's gonna be a couple management people. We want to start recognizing everybody for all the good that you're doing, because we know that there is a lot of good. So that's why we need people from all the different areas. Like I said, I'd like to have 1 or 2 drivers. Even if it's one of you guys from a remote location and we have meetings and stuff, you guys can call in and be on the calls. So whoever you want to do it, let me know. We really want to start seeing the good in everything too.
Are we having safety on the shop down there about putting salamander heaters on the freaking diving tank and trying to blow everybody up? That is not even a joke.
It was addressed.
That whole shop should have been fired. Anybody who walked by it should have been done. That really upset a lot of people.
It did, and I went out there and I unplugged them and made them remove them right away.
And if you're concerned with wait time, check with LaDonna, make sure she has it in there proper for you. And the 50 for rejects are on the crude side, Israel. Well, that's all we have for you. We appreciate you coming in.